Greetings, I'm Dike Rostant. Welcome back to the TTT News. We are joined by a visionary who is not afraid to put his blood, sweat and tears into the pursuit of pushing Soca Global. It is time to go in-depth on the work of EA all day. We are joined by Erphaan Alves. Greetings, sir. How you do?
I'm fine, thanks, man. Blessed, highly favored, just enjoying the time, enjoying the season, whatever capacity of it there is. We're grateful to celebrate and express at the same time.
And you see that quote unquote, we're going to go into it in just a little bit, but some people would have pulled back from virtual shows where it seems that you went harder. 1 day, 4 venues. What's the reason behind E-Day 2022?
It was a reaction, The pandemic happened. It was a reality. It affected each and every human being, during this current time. And, I just showed my way of dealing with it. So the COVID protocols must be observed. And, I live, within the law. So we couldn't do large events. The most likely thing for me to do was go to the people within a smaller capacity. So I came up with this idea, the events that I always dreamed of having during Carnival, it would have been a one-off thing in the nighttime. But I feel like this occurrence, the situation with the rules that we must follow would only allow me to kind of cater for a small amount of people. But then I realized, hey, I can actually go to the people, and E-Day has 24 hours. So, I push myself and my team to the limit, to actually put off 4 concerts in 24 hours, and even ensuring that the Sister Isle Tobago was included, because, we live in Trinidad and Tobago, and I must always represent that fully. So there it was just me finding a way to be resilient and, move around the stumbling blocks instead of succumbing, to the negativity, that came with the pandemic. I know I just made some lemon juice out of the lemons.
Yeah, what was that feedback like? And I especially appreciate the fact that they said within that 24 hours, you actually made the time and made it a point of emphasis to reach to Tobago as well. So what was that feedback like?
Well, the Tobago venue sold out first. So that, showed that a lot of love was reciprocated because of me being inclusive, And I got a lot of DMs from fans, Tobagonians stating that we really thought you wasn't going to come here, because the only artists is always leave out Tobago. But my team and I, we think deeply and we try to do things as correct as possible. And we believe that during a time like this, if we go in south, if we go in central, why not go to Tobago? So we say east, we head in far east, all the way to Tobago. And that sold out first, the love was amazing. The energy, 12 a.m. when I, have to touch the stage, kicking off the E-Day celebration. And I just want to say thanks to each and every artist and DJ. I kicked it off with Sean Marshall and Teja and Rhythm Nation from Tobago, alongside, DJ Crush. We had a time on stage, but the people, I expected greatness, but it was a little more than what I really expected, and I appreciate that. So for sure, next year Tobago will be included within that. And we appreciate the love from all the other venues as well. But Tobago, special respect to you.
And the way that you talk about all your artists and that different from you in terms of like you don't lump me with everybody. And that makes me want to ask you about your evolution a little bit. Because in 2013 when you were singing Eruption, I believe, and you had the all black, the waistcoat, the hat, and you're in the Savannah, the energy that I was getting from you, it felt kind of like a calypsonian. And we know that you have the history in terms of the junior calypso, but coming up, talk a little bit about your evolution and some of the things that you have done, you have gone through, that means that you're not going to lump yourself with all your artists.
Right. So for me now, I am a cultural soul there. I represent and stand for the art form, and I would always defend the art form. So even back then, I view the Queen's Park Savannah as a holy ground and a very special place, for calypso music and soca music. And I see I went back there when I did the Memories Refix I owe to, all the memories that we would have had if we got to grace the road last year and even this year. So, I always keep rooted because that Queen's Park Savannah, as you say, my background, that's where I hone my artistry. That's where I went for the first time and saw my bigger brothers and sisters in the industry, like Lil Bits, Ola Tunji, Chucky, Patrice Roberts, on that even like Class, who's into production, who was a dancer on that stage. I always tell people Second Star. I met Second Star in the business before I even started singing. I met him by Istanbul about voice training. So a lot of people was there before me and I respect them. But within that space, I always try to stay rooted to it. For Calypso, I would never really turn up a blind eye on Calypso. I always try to include elements of Calypso within my artistry, especially the lyrical content. And if you listen to Erphaan Alves' music, I have evolved in a positive way to be a very high impacting, lyrical creator. When it comes to the lyrics that I produce, give the people double meaning, sometimes a third layer is added just to you know, give them a little more. I include calypsonians within my lyrics like lingo. Can't match a lingo, cause the rest of them blind. See them somebody again. A lot of people didn't know I was honoring lingo, as the extempo legend. He is blind. When they say can't match a lingo, it means like can't match a lady's prowess in her style and how she do a thing. Because the rest of them blind time that up the lingo. So using those witty lyrics and also time stamping with the lyrics, because when I sang No Habla, I was within a time when it was like influx. It was heavy. A lot of the Venezuelan immigrants were coming over to Trinidad and Tobago to seek better living. So years from now, when they hear No Habla, you remember when that was. And that was what the Calypsonians used to do, for example, Gene and Dinah. That speaks of something that we would always remember during the time and what it was about. So my roots really helped to mold and shape me, and this allowed me to become better than before. And people respect me in and out of the quote unquote soca world because I understood how to relate to beyond Carnival and beyond the soca fans alone. So if you want to push it global, I can't think about things that I'm already doing. I always try to be innovative. So in the event form and the presentation of myself and my brand on a stage, and we have limitations, but I stretch myself around the limitations and give the people more. Because when this grows, it would be 4 big events in one day. And the people grew with it so they would understand, and it wouldn't be something out of the way where I hitting onto them hot, 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 like when things have been back to a larger scale and normal scene. It's something that they understand. This is what he gave us in the pandemic. And because of the love he got, he decided to keep it and go forth into the new normal with this 24-hour thing. And I plan to make it an international thing here within the 24, as far as we can stretch it, as far as we could push the boundaries and in terms of entertainment and building a legacy for soca to kind of keep people engaged and give them more reason to respect and support soca artists. That's my mission right now.
And we're going to be talking about that mission when we return. Right now, we have a little bit of you. You mentioned Shal, and we have some of you and Shal to go to the break. Stay with us. We return with more.
Right down, man, nobody like this, and nobody like you. Nothing and nobody like you. Say, how will we tell them? And every single time we touch, I always wanna let you know that I love you so much, it and nobody like. Sing nothing and nobody like. Make the ball out, whoa, oh. Say, whoa, oh, oh, oh. Long time this I overdue. Long time this I overdue. Make me ball out, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Long time this I overdue. Long time this I overdue.
had a piece of overdue from 2020 with in-depth having a conversation with Erphaan Alves, and just as he put that on silent again, now Erphaan, you're talking about stretching yourself around limitations. Yeah, man, let's make out scenes. So being able to shift the music so that people realize, wait, no, is all this lyrics, because you just spoke about being a lyricist as well, as opposed to just having a sweet voice. But all of this music that sometimes can be missed when the BPM a little high, so people can't necessarily follow it, so they can't get the sweetness. How important is it to you to have these different visuals, these different versions, so people can say, wait, no, all of this is the music too?
Yeah, because it's an upward battle for us, We are a group of people who aren't considered after Ash Wednesday. So, all right, I need to show myself a little more here and flex my muscle and express that I possess certain capabilities that would kind of jolt people and build interest. Oh, he could actually play an instrument, he could play the piano, he could play pan, he produces. Oh, all right. And when they internalize the production, I always make sure the visual presentation is, easy on the eyes and as epic as possible, as innovative and as fresh as possible. So, when you see Erphaan in our open theater space, work being done, it's being prepared for an event, grand piano in the middle, and I'm singing there. That's an international look, That's what they are accustomed seeing on BT and so on from these other international acts. But we have those spaces here and we could sell that to the world, Not every single time you see me would be in a fit or drinking or with a costume on the road, carnival. I want to kind of stretch the limit. So that's why I feel like the Overdue music video in 2012, I traveled to Times Square with my team to show people that, we could sonically digest our music any place in the world because the visuals just gave it that fresh energy, and assisted the song. And it wasn't weird, it wasn't awkward, it was well received. So that was just me subliminally plugging into the people like soca is global worthy. But we just have to continue the momentum after Carnival to build the vibe with the fans so they could love and respect us a little more than just within the season. And when we do events, they would come out and support it. When we have merch, they would go into stores and buy it. When we put songs online, they would stream and download it. So I call it musical estate. I have real estate with properties, physical properties. Erphaan Alves' musical estate would be the masters that he would have of a catalog that I could eventually sign off to my children, and they will be gaining a monthly salary from my music, and then their children, and it would go on and on and on. So all of those things I'm thinking about for us to really move up and kind of position ourselves so that iTunes can look at us and say, boy, nah, we're watching the numbers significantly growing. It's time we give them a category. I rather let us do the work first to impress them. Those little fixes and remixes I'm doing, it just a means of ways of flexing my muscle a little bit to impress people who feel as though we could only do the carnival, jump and wave and wine. Nah, there's more to it. By the way, I could do this here too if I wanted to.
And one of the images that you would have seen just now while you were giving that explanation that I really appreciate and thank you for that is one with you and Machel Montano on stage. It makes me want to ask the question, who are some of the people that you take influence from or inspiration and, okay, well, I take a little vibes from this one. I take a little vibes from that person. I'm not trying to be them, but I'm trying to add that to what it is me and my team are doing. Who are some of those people locally and outside?
Well, for me, I'm a soca baby, I look up to everyone, but naturally I kind of took to Machel and Bunji for different reasons. And just to give you an idea of what I mean, like for example, two things, Machel's energy and stage presence, and then Bunji, like for example, Bunji Garland's lyrical prowess. Now, I personally find he's the best lyricist soca has ever seen, and I find Machel is the most energetic and entertaining person on a stage or even off stage shooting music like that soca has ever seen. So like And as a child, I used to call them and talk to them and reason with them and look up to them and that kind of thing. So if you listen to my music and you kind of really strip it down, you would see that. And I'm not afraid to say that because, you know, they would have had people before them who they look up to. And that's the era I was a fan of. So that's what I know. You know, if you listen to our power soca from me, you get a vibe and energy, the Colonel Roberts kind of production in terms of the phrasing and that kind of thing, because Colonel was my producer from since Junior Soca Monarch along with others. I was exposed to that at a very young age. So you might get the one called Jab from me, but you'll get Erphaan Alves power soca from that era. I call it like the road march soca. If you listen to Pick a Side, if you listen to Brave, that is the energy. You know, and Bungie Garland, like if you listen to a lot of my lyrics, it is double meaning, witty, a lot of punchlines in there. I could go fast, I could go slow. So I just expressing, you know, things that I would absorb and come together and creating my own way all together makes this one Erphaan Alves brand. But I love Calypso, and my father always had like original albums from David Rudder, Black Stallion, Mighty Sparrow. You know, so those are the guys that I would naturally just be exposed to being at home in the house. So it was always like, you know, TTT showing music videos. I cannot wait to see Big Chuck music video. I used to, you know, be back in the house, like Marshall with a rag whining. My father said I used to put on his shirts and run up and down like Ronnie McIntosh, like if it was a cape. So I was literally wired as a child to become who I am, you know, whether it be consciously or subconsciously. You know, so influences stemming all over, but as I explained, you know, naturally stronger ones because of I like energy, you know, I like pretty lyrics, I like witty lyrics, I like substance. So yeah, that all of that come together and you got EA.
And in terms of that, and we weren't able to dive into the importance of your team, but you always talk about them and big them up. And as the person who people say you have coined that genre, wedding soca. I don't know if one time you might take a look at King Austin Special Lovin', but that's just my vote. But we want to end the conversation with you and Johanna Chokeri, and we want to thank you very much for the work that you're doing to push Soca Global, sir. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you for joining us.
I miss you. Hey. See every carnival time. You don't know be nice and temperature they rise. If you leave me, I go die. I swear, you are like the oxygen I need to survive. I'll be honest. You know the road it calling me. I am so obsessed, but all I left with is a memory. Monday, I see we getting on the street. Tuesday, rough pretty girl and repeat. Wednesday, everybody head to the beach. It's so can make me jump and sing. Oh, ah.